Good morning, Professor.
Hi, good morning.
Sorry, yesterday my audio and video device is not supported, so I could not greet you.
No problem. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm Nageshwar Rao, head of the Department of ECE.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Thank.
Formally, I
This
would
is
like to formally I would like to welcome you for this session, and at the same time, I express my sincere thanks to you, sir, for accepting our invitation and delivering two talks, which are very highly. I have gone through your entire talks yesterday, but only thing is I could not talk to you.
yeah,
my,
no
my
problem.
my mic and video not supported. Thank you
Yes,
very much,
thank you
sir.
so much for inviting
Your
me.
session was excellent, and really it's a thought provoking for the people. Okay, we can do in this way. All metacognitive skills can be developed through the games. It's a
Yeah,
wonderful session. Thank you very much, sir.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. I think one more minute is this.
Yeah, yeah.
What is the temperature, sir? There at present,
What?
temperature.
This week is a little bit higher, but right now is about 22 Celsius. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
but actually here we have a heat warning if the highest temperature in the day is more than 29, and the lowest temperature is higher than 14. Then if this kind of condition continuously for 2 days, then we will have a heat warning.
Okay.
Yeah, so it
Okay.
is impossible to imagine in India because
Okay.
probably every day will be heat warning.
Without the temperature, we cannot survive here.
Yeah, yeah. But here Edmonton is very north, the one of the capital city of the province. So usually our temperature is not so high. We will have a temperature higher than 30 degree for like maybe maximum 5 days or 3 days in a year. But in the latest 2 or 3 years, we have like 10 days. So uh, so that is very hard for us. Our in winter, our temperature can be lower than minus 30 Celsius degree. So yeah. So by that time, India is still like a 29, 28, or 25. So if you fly to Canada, then you will suffering from 50 Celsius degree, change.
Yes.
So
Thanks, sir. Thank you, sir. Professor Misra, sir, you can take it. You can start.
No problem. So we'll go from here. No.
Good morning to everyone. I, Dr. N.V. Lalita of GMR Institute of Technology, India, welcome all the participants in Day 3 of International Faculty Development Program on Technologies for Teaching Learning Pedagogy. Distinguished speaker of today's session is Professor Mega Chang from Athabasca University, Canada. Yesterday, he delivered very interesting session on games for metacognitive and skills training. Today, he is going to deliver a talk on sequential learning behavior analysis, association, and clustering. For those faculty members who may not present in yesterday's session, I would like to present the brief biodata of Professor Mega Chang. Dr. Chang is a full professor in the School of Computing, Information and Systems at Athabasca University, Canada. He chairs many technical committees, which include chair of IEEE Technical Committee of Learning Technology and executive committee member of Asia Pacific Society for Computers in Education. He is editor-in-chief in many journals, which are included in Web of Sciences, ESCI, Scopus, EI, etc. Dr. Chan also served many IEEE international conferences as program chair. He has given more than 100 talks and lectures in different conferences, universities, and events. He has participated in more than 310 international conferences and workshops as a program committee member, and he also has co-authored more than 225 edited books, book chapters, journal, and international conference papers. His research mainly focuses on game-based learning, training and assessment, mobile learning, museum e-learning, learning behavior analysis, learning analytics, and academic analytics, data mining, and artificial intelligence, intelligent agent technology, and mobile healthcare. Yesterday, some participants asked the website links which Professor Chan displayed during his presentation. Now, I got those links from Professor Chan and I shall send it to the participants through email. Now, I invite Dr. Mega Chan to deliver his talk on sequential learning behavior analysis, association, and clustering. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And once again, thank you, Professor Rao and Professor Misra, inviting me to come to this program and give a talk. And I really appreciate them to give me second chance to talk another topic. So I'm not quite sure how many of you were here. To attend the earlier talk, but I don't want to waste the time for some people they have already attended yesterday. So I will skip my long history with India, and I would like to have my talk started almost right away. So once again, good morning, namaste. Yeah. Okay. So let me share my screen. So you should be able to see my screen right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are able to see.
Okay, that's good. All right. So in any case, if you don't know me yet, that is okay. Probably you can take a look at yesterday's presentation. My name is Micah Zhang, and I have already been introduced twice. But anyway, right now I'm working as a chair for IEEE TCLT, which we have two international conferences held every year. So our flagship conference, ICARD, is held everywhere in the world. Usually we will have 1 year in Europe and 1 year in Asia, and then come back to Europe, and then go to United States. Sorry, not the United States. I will say America. So we last year we had ICARD conference in Brazil. So every year we will move ICARD from one continent to another. The other conference, major conference we have every year is IEEE T4E, Technology for Education. So all of these two conferences, they are talking about advanced learning technology. The only difference is T4E conference, we decided to have this conference every year in India. So we already hosted T4E for 10 years. So except this year, we canceled the conference due to COVID-19. But But the next year, when we have the T4E conference, it will be once again in India. We decided to do that due to we want to promote educational technology in India and making sure that all the participants in India, including professors, students, researchers, you can attend this major event easier. I also have right now I am editor-in-chief in several journals. My personal preference is to serve a journal which can provide free for authors. So either they have a regular mode option for authors to decide that they want to publish their papers in regular mode without paying anything, or they have open access for free for both of authors and readers. So every journals I list here, right now I serve as editor-in-chief. They are free for authors. So in any case, if you want to consider, you can consider that. I'm coming from Athabasca University in Canada. I just talked to Dean, Professor Rob, saying in Canada, not in Canada, in our city, in the winter, we have lowest temperature, like less than minus 30 Celsius degree. And right now, our temperature is about 25 Celsius. But in the past, our highest temperature in summer is about 30, 31, and usually we won't have more than 30, 31 5 days or 3 days most. But of course, in recent 2 years, 3 years, we have more days which have higher temperature than 30. So it's a little bit different from here compared to India, because here in our city, if there are continue 2 days, you will have forecasting about higher than 29 Celsius degree in the day and higher than 14 degrees Celsius in the night, then the government will issue heat warning. So that is a little bit very different from India. So I also want to skip my research goal, because today you will see my internal beauty. As I said earlier, yesterday is about my outlook. So I am famous or well known in my educational game-based learning, game-based training, game-based assessment research. However, almost all my research, inside of them, we have smart component, or you can say intelligent component, to support that. So today I'm going to talk sequential behavior analysis, behavior association, and clustering. Why this is important? First of all, let's consider that you have a behaviors like this. So you can see that we have 4 users here. The first user, he or she goes to McDonald's at 9 a.m. in the morning, and then he spent like 1 hour and 20 minutes in McDonald's, and then he went to theater, to see a movie, and then after the movie finished, he went to Starbucks at 12:30, and then he went to KFC. So this guy, user A, has this behavior. Let's take a look at another lady, user B. So she went to McDonald's at 9:40, and then she also went to the theater to see the movie at the same time at 10:20. Once the movie ends, she went to Starbucks at 12:30, and by coincidentally, she also went to KFC at 1:30 p.m. So if you compare these two users, would you say they are same? Would you say their behavior are same? Okay, let's take a look at another two users, user C and user D. They also went to 4 places: Starbucks, theater, McDonald's, KFC, but their sequence is different. So user C went to Starbucks first, and then went to theater. After the movie, he or she went to McDonald's and then KFC. Compared to another user, user D, he goes to KFC first, and then go to the theater and the Starbucks and the McDonald's. So now you have at least 4 users. In your data set, it may look like this. User A equals to McDonald's, theater, Starbucks, KFC. User B equals to McDonald's, theater, Starbucks, KFC. User C, he or she has the record like Starbucks, theater, McDonald's, KFC, and user D, KFC, theater, Starbucks, McDonald's. So now you have this data set. I would like to ask you, are they same? So if you only take a look at the data set without considering the time series matter, sequential matter, then you will definitely say user A and user B, they are absolutely same. And in another way, take a look at Amazon. So when you go to Amazon, you purchase a book, and then Amazon will try to recommend you to buy another book based on your purchase behavior in the past. What kind of methodology they use? They usually use association rule, which means if Amazon consider this 4 data set, Amazon definitely will treat these 4 users all the same, because all the 4 restaurant or places, they all go there. So in that case, they may provide some kind of service based on the data set that they have seen. However, from your human being intuition, what do you say about these 4 users? For me, let me speak just on behalf of myself. If I am a system, if I am a computer, take a look at user A, user D's behavior. For me, I will say, how can a person go to a restaurant, fast food restaurant like a McDonald's or KFC, and stay there from 9 a.m. until 10:20? Maybe they want to go for a breakfast before seeing a movie, right? Or they want to meet someone like his girlfriend or her boyfriend and so on, or their classmates. So they have an appointment. They say, let's get together in McDonald's or KFC first, and then we'll go to see a movie together. So take a look at the time. Take a look at the time frame they spend in a place, and think about that, how you analyze the behavior. So I would like to use the example I just introduced to you and talk about what the data analysis will be looking like if we consider or if we don't consider the time factor. So Once again, I show you the data set here, user A, B, and C, and D. So now, if we use association rule mining, which is a traditional one used by many online shopping company, so in that case, probably they will always say, as long as you see a user goes to McDonald's and the theater, then they will definitely go to Starbucks. Also, if they went to theater and Starbucks before, then McDonald's definitely will be their choice. So how these two association rules come out? Actually, it may come out from the user A and user B come out to this rule, and the user C and user D, because Starbucks and theater, Starbucks and theater. So McDonald's will be always followed. Okay, this is the first data mining methodology we are going to use. Actually, we use association rule mining in almost every shopping online shopping system. So now let's take a look at another data mining method, which is decision tree. So if you apply decision tree to analyze this data set, what kind of things you will get? Actually, you probably will get a little bit more if you consider the time. So taking a look at the data here, as you can see, the noon, before noon we call morning. So if you consider the time when McDonald's happens in the morning, McDonald's happens in the morning, McDonald's happens in the afternoon, McDonald's happens in the afternoon, right? So in that case, probably decision tree will help you to get some rules like if it is morning, users will have 50% chance to go to McDonald's. And if it is afternoon, users will have a 75% chance to go to Starbucks. Because as you can see, user A, B, and D, they all go to Starbucks after theater. So, so think about that. And then they probably will also tell you, oh, there are 75% chance users will choose KFC as their last stop. As I said earlier, they are making sense, right? Yes, of course they are making sense because they are summarized from the data set. So association rule mining, they are summarized from the data set without consider time. And this decision tree mechanism, if we consider time factor, we still can get some rules based on our data set. But again, I needed to emphasize, as a human being, do you really believe what we just analyzed? Do you really believe the rules we extracted are really useful? So consider that they only consider data entry, but they are not consider their sequential behavior, or we say time series behavior, or even how much time they spend in every place. So if we consider that, then that will become some kind of sequential data analysis, or what we call time series data mining. So consider a behavior represent an action may imply, for example, you go into McDonald's an hour or more than an hour earlier prior to the theater to see a movie, may means your behavior is having a meal, or you trying to killing time, or you are waiting someone. Do you think someone will try to get to McDonald's or KFC earlier, more than 1.5 earlier, just because they want to killing time in the restaurant. Or you will think they probably want to have breakfast, or they want to wait their friends. These two behavior, these two actions might be more making sense than the killing time. Also, if you spend any place less than 30 minutes, what that means? Is that mean you are taking a break, or you want to having a lunch, or are you going to planning your next move? So once again, as a human being, if someone only spend 30 minutes in Starbucks or in KFC or in McDonald's, then as a human being, I probably will say that they just want to take a break after the movie, or they after the movie they don't have any idea about where they should go for next. So people they are gathering together in Starbucks, having a coffee, or in the KFC or McDonald's to have drinks like a Coke, and so on, and planning for their next stop. But I doubt anyone will trying to use less than 30 minutes to order a meal and then finish that and then go. Okay, perhaps you will say some people may do that, but that will be definitely very few people. So this is the reason why we want to have the sequential data analysis. Because if you have a sequential data analysis, then you can understand your users better, and you probably can provide them better service, personalized service. So we are talking about learning and teaching in this program. So can we use sequential data mining or data analysis mechanism to analyze students or learners' behaviors? And then can we provide them some kind of service? So here I want to talk about 4 kinds of learning behaviors. The first learning behavior is reading and annotation. As you all know that the students, when they are learning at home, like right now, if they are forced to learning at home, they cannot go to school due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In that case, when they read, of course, they can read on their textbook, or you will provide some e-material like a EPUB PDF file, EPUB file, like any kind of test, e-test that can be read on their mobile device, tablet, or computer. In that case, when they read this kind of e-test, they need to annotate the content. So what happened when they annotate something? This is the first kind of learning behavior. The second kind of learning behavior is question answering. So sometimes you will provide them a lot of questions, like a multiple choice questions, and you ask them to answer that, taking those kind of questions as a quiz. But just like the written exam, when people they see the multiple question, they will use their mouse cursor, click here, click there. Maybe the option 1 is correct. No. Perhaps option 2. Maybe option 4. Finally I decide the question, option number 1. So this kind of question answering behavior in multiple choice question, or even in the short answer question, they could be learning behaviors. Of course, here I use multiple choice question as example. But anyway, we also trying to do something with natural language processing to see your and the keystroke dynamics to see your behavior while typing. So that is another story. But right now, let's focusing on the question answering with multiple choice on mobile app. And the game playing behavior. So yesterday I talked about game playing, and at the end, Professor Misra asked a question about can we analyze this data, and do we have any proof or any information about this kind of game playing behavior to analyze. So game playing is one of the learning behavior if you consider the game is an educational game. And another, the last one is very common to be seen, that is studying in a learning management system, including Blackboard, Moodle, and other any kind of a MOOC system. So people, they will reading and they will learning inside the learning management system, and every actions they made will be recorded. So I will talk them one by one. So first of all, let's take a look at reading behavior. Our research group trying to do one thing, which is clustering students' annotation behaviors and cluster them into different groups. In that case, we can consider what kind of remedy information or additional information or reminders we can provide to you. Consider if you are in the same group like the other students, and the other students they need this. So do you also need this? When we do this approach, we're trying to use a bio-inspired approach, which means we try to consider your annotation behavior is a kind of DNA of yourself. So as you all know that we can do DNA tests. So if you do DNA tests, you can know who is your father, mother, parents, grandparents, or who is your sibling. So that is very similar things. Can we convert your annotation behavior into a DNA sequence and then test your DNA with other students and try to find out your siblings? So that is what we do. We try to use annotation behavior. We try to use DNA to represent you, and annotation behavior will be converted to a DNA. We, as you can see, and DNA looks like this, like a AGCT. So here is a human's DNA. So you can see, actually, your DNA looks like this. They are composed with this AGCT four characters. Of course, there are other a little bit derived right nowadays they found, but we can consider this AGCT. So can we also consider your annotation behavior is your DNA? So taking a look at Amy, John's, and Bob's annotation. So here is a reading material. Every year in the U.S., factories release over 3 million tons of toxic chemical in the land, air, and water. So Amy, in Amy's mind, she thought the most important thing is land, air, and water, because the factory in the United States, they release those toxic chemical to land, air, and water. On the other hand, Jones says no. I think land is most important, because when you throw out your garbage, they are actually also putting in the land. They are not in the air. Okay, that is John's idea. And Bob Bob says, no, you are wrong. In my thought or in my mind, I think the quantity is the most important thing. So over 3 million tons. So consider that if you are computer or because you are a human being, if you see these 3 students annotation, although John used highlight, Amy used bold, and Bob is trying to underline the important words. They use different way to annotate a reading material. But from your point of view, if you see these 3 students, will you say Amy's thought is closer to John or Bob? Will you say Amy's thought is closer to Bob? Probably not, right? Because Amy thought that the most important concept or most important content here is the land, air, water. While Bob is actually saying the most important thing is 3 million. On the other hand, John thinks land is most important, but probably because John also think the place is very important. But John thinks air and water is not so important. Or John has already got the idea about air pollution and water pollution. Now he thought land, so he has his own mind. So our research group are trying to provide 4 bio-inspired clustering measures, which are standard, quantitative, cosine similarity, diffusion, trying to cluster students based on their annotation behavior. So we convert everything into a DNA form, and then for the cosine approach, we use cosine similarity, which are a very common way to find to find in search engine. So when you're trying to search a keyword in Google, actually they are also use cosine similarity, trying to match your keywords with the content provided in different pages. And the diffusion approach is our innovation. We consider, see, if you get a lot of tissue papers, and then you drop 1 coffee or tea or chai on the tissue paper, you will see the watermarks will be diffused. So that is our idea. We think we can use the hot zone and the diffusion, trying to find the difference between DNA. So we did a comparison. The comparison is based on the menu clustering. So teachers, they are also cluster the students' reading behavior. So, and we also compare with the generic hierarchical clustering method with our 4 approaches. And our evaluation is done with 40 students annotation on a 2,894 word academic journal paper. So remember, this what they are reading is not just an e-text. They are reading a journal paper, which is an academic article. So how much time? And if we compare with the teacher's clustering result, what will be the difference? So you can see the most important thing I want to tell you is the timing. Do you still remember how many students we have? We have 40 students. Do you still remember how many words article they read? 2,894. So how much time our algorithm needs to cluster students into different groups? 27 milliseconds. Milliseconds. Think about millisecond. Millisecond means Even you have 400 students, they read the 2,893 words article, we probably can still cluster students within 1 second. See? That is a very important thing, because if you can class a student, 200 students or 400 students within 1 second when they are reading a 2,893 word article, then that kind of system can provide immediate feedback for students. Don't even mention in the most of case on the web page, your teaching material usually don't have so many words. And you can see that our accuracy, precision, and recall rate is about 68% to 74%, 75% compared to the human teachers' classroom result. Once again, I need to tell you, compare with human teachers' classroom result is one way. However, even two teachers, they probably will class students differently, right? You and your colleague, if you guys are marking students' answer sheet for final exam, do you have 100% confident that both of you will give the same student same marks? No, that is almost impossible. So compare to teacher is one way to compare to evaluate our algorithms efficiency, but that is still a kind of drawback, because perhaps with another teacher we can reach accuracy like 95%, but with another teacher C, we probably can only reach like 50%. So depending on different teachers, you may have a different evaluation result coming out. So we have already published many papers about the clustering annotation with bio-inspired approach. So if you have interest, you can go to take a look. The second one is question answering. We collaborate with a company in BC, Mathtoons. So Mathtoons company is a company who provide the educational mobile app. The company's founder and the CEO is the top 10 business women in Canada. She was a teacher, science teacher and a math teacher in high school. And she found out that most of science and math teachers in high school or in the secondary school, primary school, actually they are not expert in science or math. As you all know, if you have a daughter or son, when they were still young, when they are not learning about calculus or linear algebra, when they are learning the basic science, basic math, actually you can teach them, right? So very similar. Many teachers in primary school or secondary school, when they are teaching the basic or foundation of the math and the science, actually they are not really have that kind of degree. So also students, they don't want to practice. So that is why this lady, he quit the job and trying to create a company to provide an educational mobile app practice. So when students play the practice, they can sign in and they will get a code from their teacher, so they can do the math form in images and something super spell and other things. So when they do the practice, they will see different quiz. And for each of the quiz, they will going to answer the questions. So as you can see, this is the question. They can practice. So they can practice as many times as they want. So this time they probably wrong, this time, next time they probably correct. So anyway, they will see the result. They can still practice. So these companies came to me many years ago. They say, we want to know how the difficulty of a question is for a student, or how the difficulty of this question, generally speaking, for all the students. And we also want to give some kind of rewards for students. They can conquer those questions at the very beginning are difficult for us, but right now they conquer them. We want to give them more rewards. So we're trying to use a time sequence, time series and the sequential data mining. So first of all, you can see Andy is here. Andy trying to answer one question several times, as you can see. And you can see sometimes he is correct. Sometimes he skipped the question, and he attempted many times or several times or only one time. So in that case, we have the 4 steps of the algorithm. The first step is tagging the patterns. So first of all, for this question, we have a different records, and they all happened from November 15 to November 19, and you can see they have a totally different behavior. So the first thing is we trying to tag them to see if they correct. So if they are correct and they only attempt 1 or 2 times and they answer this question very fast, then that is perhaps very easy for them, right? So as you can see here, is correct and very low attempts and low time, something like that. And then if someone who try to answer this question several times and they spend a lot of time in answer this question, then probably this question is a little bit normal or harder for them. On the other hand, if they skip the question and when they try to answer the question, they spend a lot of time and a lot of attempts, then definitely this question may be too hard for them because they want to skip, and if they cannot skip, they cannot answer correctly. So once we have a list, then we can have a symbol for them, and we have a different equation. So teachers or the company, Mathtoon, they can change the equation, so they can adjust the final result based on our algorithm. So consider we have a database looks like a list for question number 2212. We have so many different users, and they all have a different kind of pattern. And remember, sequence is matter. Order is matter. So remember, if you see AC, it doesn't mean like a CA because order is matter. So in that case, our second step is trying to find the frequent patterns. We use a very easy way to find the frequent pattern. So that is, you can see D is normal, C is easy, E is normal, D is normal, and A is easy, something like that. So in that case, let's first find the frequent pattern for this question. You can set your maximum length, and you can set a minimum support. So for example, let's talk about A, B, C, D. So you can see how many times for this question, how many times A happened. Pattern A happened 11 times, and so on. And if we consider the support rate is 200%, then everyone will be remained. If every pattern is remained, then let's go for AB, AC, AD, AE, AF, and so on. So as you can see, AA actually happening 8 times, AB happening 8 times, and so on. And then you will find the percentage, which is the support rate. And due to the minimum support rate is 20%, we only consider AA pattern, AB pattern, DA pattern, DC pattern, and the BFD pattern for this question. And because we set the pattern should be maxima for 3. So once again, we're trying to find out the 3 frequent patterns when students answer this question. Now, let's measure the question difficulty. We have these 3 frequent patterns. AAB, actually, they are all easy. DAA, as you may remember, normal, easy, easy. And then DCD is normal, easy, normal. So if we consider very simple weight measure, you can say actually the first pattern is also easy. The second pattern is easy. The third pattern is normal. Okay? So now, if we know that, then we definitely know there are 83% behaviors show that answering this question is an easy. So this question is supposed to be easy for most of people, but of course some people they are still think the question is difficult or normal. But we can, generally speaking, they are easy questions. So with this information, we can calculate our award point for students. So I skip this calculation because you can do whatever you want to do by consider students' past behavior and the current behavior. Then you can give them extra points or extra rewards. So anyway, this is the second one. Algorithm of behavior-based award point calculation. This algorithm also consider the sequence, the sequential order, and the time series. Learning behavior, game playing. Actually, I have already talked yesterday, so I try to skip that. In any case, some of you haven't seen this before. So basically, this is a game. So we spend a lot of time, 2 years and 6 months, and we have more than 12 people working on this game. And we provide a lot of sub games. So when people they play the game, they will sharpening their metacognitive skills. So if you want, you can go to omega.gamesresearch.ca and then you can try this game a little bit. The point is, if you record all the time series data, then you can provide a learning analytics dashboard for not only students or learners, but also teachers. So they can see a student's performance. They can see how most of users, their metacognitive skill is. For example, how many people they have a very high problem solving skill. How many students they have a very low associative reasoning skill. So there is a professor from Hong Kong. They are doing computational thinking skill. So they also want to collaborate with us. They want to create another 3 sub-games or 2 sub-games. And when people they play those 2 sub-games, their computational thinking skill can be evaluated. And in that case, this kind of learning analytics dashboard can provide the teachers a good idea about how his or her class, how the students in their class have good or bad computational skills. So we have different kind of learning analytics dashboards, and you can take a look. And we have already published some papers regarding this game. But I think the most important thing for you is go to play this game a little bit. The last one is the study and learning behavior inside a learning management system. We develop a behavior analytics Moodle plugin. And right now, the Moodle plugin is reviewed by the Moodle community. So when it's get approved, you will be able to find this plugin from the Moodle community repository or plugin repository. Of course, at the end of this slides, I will also give you a URL so you can download our Moodle Analytics plugin right now and install that into your Moodle directly if you want. If you don't want to wait until Moodle officially publish that. So what do we do? As you can see, if you are a student, you are click here, click there. So sometimes you go to assignment 1. Sometimes you want to see the statistic, population, and sample, the concept, the material. So different students, when they log into learning management system, they will click different resources from one place to another. So like this way, Amy and Betty actually they have a different behavior. So you can see they all start from topic 1, this place. However, actually one start from here, the other one start from here, and one go to this page, and the other go to the page like this. So if we apply centroid of a graph, then we can find the centroid of a student's behavior pattern. So that is our idea. Our idea is trying to have your subgraph. What is your subgraph? Your behavior. We have so many nodes inside a course, a Moodle course, but you only touch this there and the third item. And the other students who only take a look at another 5 pages. So those 5 pages and your 3 pages will form your subgraph. And then we're trying to find your centroid. So taking a look at this. So this is our plugin will show you. So if you install this plugin, you can see a Moodle course graph. Looks like this. And if you move your cursor over to any node, then you can see what that node means. And if you think any of the learning subject you don't think they are important, you can uncheck that or hide them. And then you can see different students, they will have different subgraph. You can see this mesh. So this is the student number 3. And this is his or her behavior or subgraph from day 1 to the hours or something 50. And then you can see here are 2 students. One is in green, the other one is in purple. So now you have the subgraph. We can calculate their centroid, and then we can do the clustering. So consider this. We have different students, and then they can be clustered based on their centroid. And once they have been clustered, actually this cluster has 4 students. If you move your mouse cursor over to this cluster, you will see their general behavior. This is their general behavior. And you can move your mouse cursor to this node and this edge to see what they are doing. And you can enter your comment here and save it. So in the future, you can know these 4 students, they need what kind of help or what the behavior they are representing to. So currently we are, our paper is under reviewing. But you can download our behavior analytics Moodle plugin at https://studyguide.athabascu.ca/networkgraph/download.php. And you can also see the tutorial video. You can go to our VIP Research Group's YouTube channel, which is https://vipresearchgroup.ca/YouTube. And then you can select a Moodle plugin playlist. You can see how to use, and you can see this plugin also can show a study ID, which is a unique ID. Every student will get a different study ID, even they have 2 courses enrolled in this Moodle system. They will have a different study ID. So this study ID, you can ask them to fill out in their questionnaire or any place. In that case, the data will be anonymized, and you will not be able to know who this student is. So their questionnaire, they can feel free to write any feedback to you because you don't know who are them. And you can also use our Moodle plugin to export the anonymized data set for research purpose. So we are looking for a collaboration with all of you guys. And by the way, we are right now developing another Moodle plugin called LORD, L-O-R-D, LORD. L is learning, O is object, R is relation, D is what? Oh, discovery. So LORD stands for Learning Object Relation Discovery Moodle plugin. What that is? That Moodle plugin uses natural language processing technique, trying to find out the relationship between different learning objects inside your course. So is this Moodle page related to another Moodle page? So we analyze the content based on natural language processing and the semantic similarity. However, LORD plugin can only be used for English-based course. So if you have any course written in English, then you can also use LORD Moodle plugin. And we will have our behavior analytics Moodle plugin version 2.0, which will have access to the outcome of LORD plugin. In that case, the behavior analysis looks like this will be even more accurate because the connection between the learning object will based on the calculation and the discovery result from LORD Moodle plugin. So anyway, this is, if you go to our website, studyguide.asapacific.ca/network graph/download, you can see right now it's Moodle 1.2. And it supports Moodle system version 3.0 or greater, and our 1.2 released on August 4. You can download it directly. Remember, Moodle plugin actually is an open source solution, so you will get all the source code from the plugin. That is always my idea, because I always hope my research can be accessed, can be used by as many people as possible, and we can help all the people around the world. So anyway, today we talk about why doing sequential data analysis is important. And we also talking about different learning behaviors, and I introduced 4 kind of research that related to sequential data analysis for 4 kind of learning behaviors. So right now we have another online reading and annotation platform that is called GRACE, General Rapid Annotation Clustering Enhancement, which allows students to annotate an e-test with many different ways. And we also have the algorithm for the behavior-based award point calculation. We have our Omega game, and I hope you guys can register an account and try it. And then we have a behavior analytics Moodle plugin. So we are looking for the collaboration with you in every aspect. So thank you so much. I'm really glad to have this opportunity invited by Dean, Professor Rao, and also our chair, Professor Miss Rob, and they are so kind to give me two chance to talk. And of course, the only bad thing is I don't have a chair or samosa or something that we can have some kind of tea break so we can talk together. But anyway, perhaps in the future we will have a chance. So there are several systems. There are QR code here, and I have already sent all the research link to the IDP to the program. So they will share with you. Of course, probably if you want to, perhaps you need to write this down because I probably didn't put the list in the document. Okay, so anyway, thank you so much. I think any question?
Thank you very much, sir, for explaining with supporting data how to use the sequential learning behavior analysis in understanding the learning behavior of the students. So, sir, couple of questions are there.
Yeah. Okay. Let me take a look.
Sir, one question is how learning behavior changes with online teaching.
How learning behavior changes with online teaching. Actually, okay. Let me first of all let me stop presenting so you can see my face. Okay. Anyway, so so first of all, I have to say nowadays, except the primary school student and secondary school students, in the most of the case, the post-secondary school students, like university students, they are quite you will say familiar or get used to learn online from different resources, right? So actually, online learning for them is not so innovative things for them. So I would say online teaching, actually their behavior is not changed too much, except one. When you are teaching in class, students sometimes they will be distracted. Sometimes they will open another book, which is a novel or another things, or maybe trying to take a look at their mobile phone. But most of them they are still afraid to be caught by teachers, so they will try to focus a little bit. But when we change to online teaching, actually you cannot guarantee people they are listening. So because they can switch to another tab or another browser, or they are playing their online mobile game, and you don't know that, because if you cannot see them, or even you can see them, probably they are taking a look at the browser, which is not your browser, but the other browser, which is a game or a novel or something like that. So I would say online learning or teaching is not about the behavior change, but they will be not concentrate, or they will be distracted easier than before. But that could be fixed. So you need to change your online teaching behavior too. You cannot always talk, so you will need to try to talk 5 or 3 minutes, and then get something out, and then perhaps point someone to do something, or you need to ask everyone to turn on their webcam And by the way, if you want to do the online teaching, I would suggest you to have more than one monitor. So you can see my monitor here, right? Let me show you another thing. I have another monitor there, so I can see myself. I can know what you guys see. And then I have another monitor here. As you can see, I can also see if you have any question you want to ask, so I can interact with you easier or quicker. So it will be very important if you want to do online teaching. Remember, online teaching you need to do some changes. Otherwise, online teaching may not be so efficient like what you expect.
Okay, sir. Another question is there, but I think that you have already given the answer of that question, but I will read the question. How to grab students' attention during online classes?
Yeah. So that's one, just like Professor Misra said, I had already answered that, but I also want to point out another thing. So basically, when you do online teaching, I would suggest that you also consider some activities like we have a theory called flipped classroom. Flipped classroom means usually we teach knowledge, we teach concept, we teach everything in classroom, and then we ask students go home, doing some exercise, doing discussions, doing some explorations, and then they can learn something more. However, flipped classroom is different. Flipped classroom asks students when you are at home, when you are not coming school, please watch this video first. Please read chapter 1 first. And then when you come back to classroom, teachers will not teach anything. Teachers will try to use exercise, use activities to make this classroom become an interactive classroom. So students, they will not sit in front of a desk and listen to you in the classroom. They will interact with everyone, with each other. So in flipped classroom concept, you can also ask students to play the game, to watch a television, watch a video when they are at home, when they are not in the school. When they come to your class, you are going to ask them question. You are going to ask them do something, so you can know they really prepared or they really learn something at home. So that kind of idea, actually, you can bring it out to your online classroom, because right now, due to COVID-19, most of universities, they are closed. Even some university in Canada and in United States, they still decided to use distance education for next semester. So for you don't have a classroom. So right now you should consider to use online time for doing activity, to doing exercise rather than teaching.
Sir, actually in India, in most of the institute, we started online teaching recently in last 2 months during this COVID-19. But we are really struggling in the evaluation part, sir. So can you suggest something for the evaluation part?
For sure. So one thing I didn't introduce, and probably Professor Misra also didn't introduce earlier. Athabasca University actually is a pure 100% online university. So basically, we don't have a classroom. Any students they taking any course is online, and we have more than 60 programs. We have PhD program, we have master program, we have bachelor program, we have everything online. So we say Athabasca University is the only university is COVID-19 proof university. So our faculty members and our students, they are not influenced by COVID-19. So I would like to share with you how you can do the evaluation online. So there are many ways. The most easy way is final presentation. So usually some of the courses we have final presentation, and for example, I'm teaching mobile app development. So people, they will have written several programs, several apps. At the end, I will ask them to get online and talk about, present your final project. And when they present their final project, I will ask them questions. For example, so can you point out the codes you have written about how you do the collision, how you make that function happen, how you change the value inside the database. So see, if a student who is not doing his homework or assignment by himself, that's definitely happening, right? They can ask someone to help them. They can pay someone to write the assignment for them in online mode of learning. But then when they come to this final exam, they don't know about anything about the codes. So I have one example. The student, when I say, okay, can you point out where you write a list function, you implement a list function, and actually he pointed the place totally wrong, nothing related to the feature. And another case is when we have the final exam, oral exam, we ask them to have the webcam. So I have one student, I saw this case. When I ask them question, I ask you a question, and then I hear the answer twice. One from another voice and one from the student. So the answer first came out from another guy. He is trying to give a hint to the student, and the student trying to repeat that answer. So that is one thing. And I also have one case is when the student answered the question, after he finished the answer, I found something. I found there is an eyeball push him. Why? Because actually he answered wrong. So this is the first easy way. If you can use like a Google Meet or Microsoft Teams or any kind of even the free Zoom, then you can do this kind of things. The second one we always do is trying to grab everyone together, and we will form a groups and ask them to do the activities online together. And when they are doing this online collaborative activities, we will join them and we will trying to see what happened there. So that is also one of the possibility that you can do the examination for your students. So yeah, there are also other ways, like you can have a quiz online and ask students to go online to take the quiz. By the way, in Canada, we have a kind of a company. I don't know if you have this kind of company in India. We have a company called Proctor. So Proctor company has a contract with Athabasca University. So if you are a student who want to write a final exam at home, then you will book an appointment with Proctor, and then when it start, Proctor will have some guy monitoring your behavior. So when the final exam start, the Proctor will ask you to move your webcam, take a look at your room and your desk and so on, and then put back, and then start writing the exam on your computer. So the proctor will try to watch you through your webcam all the time until you submit the quiz. And you cannot switch to another application, because when you switch to another application, like another browser or another tab or another application, then your quiz will be frozen, and your answer will be submitted directly. So you cannot cheat. So that is another way. Perhaps you can try, even you don't have a company like a Proctor, but you can still do similar thing. You ask the student share their desktop like a handout. You can share the desktop. Right now, Google Meet, you can share your desktop while see people. So you can see what he or she is doing, writing in their exam, and also you can see them from their webcam. That is another way which will be very good with Google Meet.
Okay, thank you, sir, for just giving the reply about these questions, sir. But you are now it is almost maybe reaching around 12 midnight in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. One question is there. It is not related to this presentation, but just for suppose some students they want to take admission in your university, online university. Then is it possible how from other countries student can take admission there?
Yes. So there are two ways they can do this. The first way is they can apply. For example, if they want to go for a master degree, which is what I strongly suggested. So they can have a bachelor degree in India, and then they can apply a master degree in Athabasca University. So when they do that, they apply the everything online, and then they can take the course online. They can use any their free time to do the study. They can still have full-time job in India and so on. So that is one way. The second way is a little bit different. The second way is we have some kind of MOU and MOA collaboration with some university. In that way, when students they apply, they still apply online, but we will ask students to apply study permit to come to Canada doing research for at least 1 or 2 years. And if they do so, they can come to Canada and they can like a regular students. But of course, when they take courses, they are still taking course online, but they will work with professors in our campus for doing research projects. So there are two ways for students if they are interested in applying Athabasca University. So for the first way, everyone can do that. Of course, as long as they pass the admission review. Yeah, I so hope that this help.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, sir. And by seeing the feedback which we are getting in the YouTube live chat box, I can say that the session was very interesting and informative. And we are hopeful that in future we shall continue our collaborations. Thank you once again, sir, for delivering your talk again during the late night hours in the Canada. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. It is really my honor and a pleasure.
Thank you, Professor Megha Chang.
Thank you, Professor Rao. Thank you,
sir. Thank you very much, sir. It's a wonderful talk, and the way you answered the queries are also noteworthy, and the feedback is also it's really highly appreciable. Thank you very much, sir. We may bother you in future also for
yeah,
many
of course.
assignments.
Definitely, please come to bother me. Please, I really want to have a collaboration with everyone, and yeah, and I also hope I can visit you someday in person. Thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
You
Good
have
night,
a
sir.
nice.
Good night. I
Yeah.
think.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, good night, sir.
Nice.
Bye.
Bye.